Well, Trinity, Christmas is approaching. This is the last day of my Advent devotionals through this series we're looking at of the names of Christ we see in Isaiah, the names for the Messiah. And the name we looked at this week was Everlasting Father, and how it speaks to this decree of this child that's going to be born, and this child will be one who is the Father of everlasting, the one who brings in, who demonstrates rulership over those things which are eternal. And we looked at each day why that matters for us today, why it's important, and what it means for us. And so the last thing I want us to consider about what it means for us, that the King that we have is one who brings in the everlasting and has an everlasting reign. And why it's good news for us is what it means is this everlasting reign means we get life everlasting. We get to be a part of that everlasting. Such a hard concept to kind of wrap our minds around. Eternity, forever. It's so big. And in fact, I have with me this box, and this is part of our Lionheart program for kids. And what kids can do is they can submit letters to the professor. And so any question they have, and they get all kinds of questions, things like, what's your favorite kind of pet? And different things like that, to seriously profound questions like, how can God be three persons? And so the professor always has a fun time trying to answer those questions. But they got a question this week from a child, and the question was a couple of really good questions, but basically the question was, how can I know I'm going to go to heaven? A child thinking about eternity, thinking about heaven. And so what you see in this chain of events from this one question is you just see this child, and in this child's mind is thinking about eternity and why that matters. And then the professor thinking about responding to this child and seeing that the work that they do matters because this child's thinking about eternity. And the teachers and the leaders who are all involved in a Lionheart program being able to be reminded is we're doing this about eternity. And the letter being shared with the parent, and the parent encouraged that their child's thinking about eternity and the decisions that they're making as parents, and bringing them to church and incorporating this in their life and teaching about it at home and working through memory verses. And all of the things we do are because eternity matters, and because the one who's coming to reign is offering life everlasting, and we want people to be able to partake of that life, to ask questions about that life, and to be able to think, can I really know I'm going to go to heaven for all of eternity? That's available to me. How can I know about it? And so I think for us, the biggest payoff, the biggest understanding for us to think about at Christmas is that this child who comes is one who's coming to reign, and his reign is forever. And by implication, the fact that that's news for us, it means it's available to us. It's an offer. Forever is on the table for us to be able to take hold of. That makes a difference for today. It makes a difference for how we raise our kids, the decisions we make to devote our lives to being involved in things like children's programming and worship services, and our witness and our communication to our neighbors, and our acts of kindness and deeds of mercy, and giving away trees to talk to people, and all of the things we do because eternity matters. It can put things in perspective. And so I think for us at Christmas, thinking about the gift of the Messiah who brings onto the scene eternal life is just thinking about how do we need to think this Christmas with more of an eternal frame of reference, that the things that we occupy our minds with at Christmas and the busyness of everything? How do we need to hit pause? How do we need to reevaluate and reorient how we look at the holiday season and all the things that are coming up in light of eternity? Eternity is the reason that Paul can speak about the difficulties that we experience and call them light, momentary affliction. And so here's my challenge to you. What's weighing on your mind this week as you move closer to the holiday seasons? In what ways do you need to reorient it in light of everlasting? Have a good Christmas.